Hello. This is just a short video I thought that I'd create to help you learn how to make sourdough bread. So this is the container. This is the sourdough bread that I have. When I'm starting to get low, then it's time to start making my sourdough bread. So let me, I don't know why I can't turn this thing around. Okay, so first you need a mixer and you need a measurer. This one measures in grams. This is the recipe that I got. I bought the starter on eBay. Actually, my daughter was the one that wanted to start making gluten-free bread. So anyway, when you put the measurer on, it says 0 right now, even with my mixer, my mixing bowl. So you put 800 grams of flour. So I'm going to dump it in here so it gets to 800. I am not an expert by any means. I just have found what works for me. And I'm using, I got this from Costco, organic all-purpose flour. So, and then I use a little bit more salt than maybe the recipe had called for, but this is just what we like. So I'm using 40 grams of salt. This is Himalayan pink salt. I'm sorry, I'm just not into wanting to show my face the whole time, so here I am. So, whoops, I forgot to start this over. I gotta hit 0 each time. Okay. I pretty much know how much goes in here though. It's about 2 of these. Maybe not quite. Almost 2 of these scoops. I think this is like a coffee scoop that we keep in the Himalayan salt because we eat in keto. We consume a lot of salt. It's good for you. 500 grams of water. Oops, I forgot to get the water. Let me pause this. Next is 500 grams of water. Got this set back to 0, the scale. That was the hardest for me to get used to. And it's not quite 4 cups. So in that, let's see. Sometimes you have to add a little more, but okay, there we go. All right, reset my scale. Next is 40 grams of olive oil. This is the olive oil. Oh God, I put too much in. It's all right. And 340 grams of yeast. So here's my starter. Basically, this was a freeze-dried starter that we bought on eBay. I'll have to look up and see if I just used a hair tie and a coffee filter so it can breathe. Don't mind my kitchen. My kitchen's the last part to get done. We've redone this whole house, my husband has. So this is the yeast. Okay, so we need, I gotta reset it first. 340 grams of yeast. And if you remember back in the day doing friendship bread, this is what it kind of reminds me of, how you'd have to feed it every day. But this, you feed it with flour. Okay, so I'm talking, I gotta keep paying attention here. Okay. And if you can see there's some more in there, I'll have to feed it with flour and water. And as long as you feed it every couple days, it's fine. It'll actually start to make a SCOBY on top if you don't feed it enough. Alright, so let me put it in the mixer next. Okay, so here we have the mixture. Put it in the mixer. Turn it on. And I set my timer. I like to set this here. I like to check on it. Set my timer on my oven for 25 minutes. Needs clean. My oven needs clean. We use it all the time. Now right now it sounds, see how it's working kind of hard? So I will come over here. Sounds like it's working too hard like that. I keep a little extra water. I'll add a little more water to it because you don't want it to sound like that. hard on your mixer and the just dough won't end up being the right consistency. Sounds better. Once it gets mixing, it'll be fine, but yeah, it's still a little bit hard. Okay, so I got just a little bit more water to put in. It's just kind of how I like it to be. I like it to be a little more on the runny side. And as it mixes, it'll have the consistency of like bread dough. That's perfect. Alright. I'll show it to you when it's only 25 minutes of that. Okay, I'll see if I can show you this. But here's my starter now. You see there isn't that much left. I'm just using a quart. Yeah, it's a quart canning jar, a wide mouth. It's easier. So anyway, I put about 3 tablespoons in there, heaping. Like, yeah, that one's really heaping. Of flour. This is flour. Because, you know, I used quite a bit of it just to make my starter for my dough. Mix it up. It's going to be a little thick. So, of course, I forgot to get some water. Get some water here. Just kind of guesstimate. It isn't really a perfect science. I mean, it'll sit there and it's hard for me to mix it up because I'm holding the iPad at the same time, but you kind of get the idea. You just mix it up till it's mixed up good, and you put the lid on it. That's it. That's all you do, and then you let it sit for a couple days. And it's still a little thick. Let me put some more water in it. You can hear the mixer running right now. So, yeah, that's all I do. I'll mix this up, put the coffee filter on it, put the hair tie on it. Of course, it's a hair tie that's not been used. And let it sit for a couple days. If you let it sit for too long, which I've done before, it'll get like a thick SCOBY on. I call it a SCOBY because I also brew kombucha, and that's what I have up here. There's my kombucha. It's, oh, you can see how dirty the top of my refrigerator is. But yeah, so it's like a thin layer of, it's like a thin, hard layer, and if that ends up on here because you didn't check it, you didn't feed it enough, it won't hurt it or anything. You just take that off and throw it away. And every once in a while, like maybe after a couple weeks, you have to replace this with, I just get a clean one out because it starts to get kind of crusty on the sides. That's it. So I want to show you, this has only been like maybe 5 minutes. Look at that, you can already see the bubbles because it's already working. So, pretty cool. Okay, so here it is. Usually clean off the sides, but I didn't this time. See how the sides look kind of crusty? I guess they're okay. Clean them off a little bit. Everybody has their own way of making, like, how they like their bread to turn out. I guess I would rather have it be a little bit, be like this, a little more, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want it to be as dry. It mixes well in my mixer. So it's been mixing for 25 minutes. And look how, like, just how doughy it is. Like, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I thought a video would help because when I first started, I had no clue what I was doing. My daughter's the one that first started doing this because she had some issues with gluten, and she's since pretty much healed from it, but she was going through a rough time there for a while. And anyway, she's the one that found this start on eBay. It was a lady selling a freeze-dried. She had freeze-dried it, and she called it Larry. It was so funny. So for the longest time, we were calling it Larry. But I don't know why I stuck that in there. But anyway, so I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap, and I'm going to let it sit. It is about 9 o'clock at night. So I'm gonna let it sit till about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll show you in the morning. I'm gonna take the dough out and put it in. It should be risen to about here. Not quite, it won't be touching the plastic wrap, but it should be to about here, and you'll see it'll be bubbly on top. Because right now, and for the first, it's funny because for the first like 4 or 5 hours, you'll think, my goodness, this isn't doing anything. And then all of a sudden, like the last 5 hours, it just, you know, you'll see it'll have bubbles on the top, and you can tell it just rises to about here. So, all right, I will see you in the morning. Hey, it's me again. So my dough, it's 5:30 at night, so it's risen a lot more than I thought it was going to, because it was chilly in our house last night. It was like 60, 62. It was not cold enough to turn the heat on. So anyway, so here we go. It's risen to where I like it. I've taken coconut oil and lined the baking pans, the loaf pans. They're smaller than I wanted, but my son is making a meatloaf in one of them. My 2 big ones are both taken, so. All right, here we go. I'm gonna put them in here. Probably just gonna bake them. I don't think I'm gonna let these rise because I have smaller loaf pans, but you can see all the holes from the batter rising. And if you could smell it, it smells like you can just smell the yeast from it rising and eating the gluten and just fermenting and making good stuff into your bread. So making it so much better for you than regular bread. So it just looks awesome. Okay, let me put a little more in that one because I like them to be even. And then I'm gonna bake them once the meatloaf comes out from supper, but I'm gonna bake them for 40 minutes on 400. That's it. Scrape the batter and that's it. Alright, so here's my bread. It's a little smaller, but I like how it turned out. It's cooling now, so I'll let it sit out all night. Alright, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.